morning. Here's today's outfit. The sweater is a few years old. It is from Ann Taylor Loft. These jeans are about a year or so old, and I believe these are from Old Navy. I'm wearing some flats from Blvd that are a couple years old that have, these are the ones that have like the fuzz in it. So it's like wearing some comfy house shoes. My accessories are pretty simple. I'm just wearing this ring from Uncommon James, these hoops from Ana Luisa that I put on when I'm in a pinch. This bracelet is from Uncommon James. I got this summer. And my Apple Watch. My brown frame is from Warby Parker. And that is it. So I will probably try and talk to you in the car because I think I figured it out. Thanks to you guys. Okay. As many of you mentioned when I talked about how I couldn't get the audio to come through when I was recording in the video lately, a lot of you told me to turn the Bluetooth off, or a few of you told me to turn the Bluetooth off, and I responded, and I think I said like I tried that, but for whatever reason in my car you have to turn the Bluetooth off before you even get in the car, almost like you can't even let the car register that there's Bluetooth. So I'm assuming you guys can hear me, and I'm hoping this is working. I'm obviously on my way to work, and I really am frustrated with myself right now. Frustrated first because I woke up this morning to exercise and didn't, and that has been happening more often than not. I'm still getting to the point where I, in the course of a week, will exercise at least 3 times, and that is my bare minimum, but the goal is always to exercise 5 days out of the week, Monday through Friday, just because it helps me to like wake up. It usually makes me feel better throughout the day. But recently, and by recently I mean the past several weeks, that has just been a struggle, regardless of whether or not I go to bed on time or not. It's just when that alarm goes off, to get out of that bed and put on clothes is just so difficult. Even when I get out of bed and I'm not going to exercise, like I know the plan is not to exercise. And so this morning, as I got back in the bed, instead of exercising, the last thought I had before I fell back to sleep is just like, is there like a low grade of depression there, or am I just burnt out? Like, that's the perpetual question. I feel like it's just burnout, and in therapy I'm learning how to like give myself grace, because I have very hard lines for myself, and high expectations for myself, and I don't give myself grace when I have to like veer out of the rule I've established for myself. So as I was contemplating that and falling back to sleep, I just realized like this is one of those years where you're gonna have to just be a little bit more graceful with yourself. Really work on giving yourself grace, because it has been a very tumultuous year, and I am mentally exhausted just from the job itself, and then just everything I've been dealing with, and to some degree emotionally exhausted. Like, it's in a way that I haven't been by my job in years. So those are my thoughts when I was falling back to sleep. And then when I went back to sleep for that hour and 20 minutes or so, I had this dream, and in this dream I wasn't a teacher, I think I was a counselor, and I was in deep depression, like not showing up to work, just crying. Like in the dream, like you could tell the gist was I was deeply depressed. And then, you know, when you wake up and for a split second you think that what was happening in the dream is your reality, that's what happened. And then I was relieved to know, like, well, even if you are depressed right now, it's not to that level. It's a very light depression, and more than anything, it's probably just burnout. So I think what I also thought to myself was, when I was going back to sleep, is if I could just get to maybe Thanksgiving break, where I can get several days of rest and feel like I have time to breathe and catch my bearings and just settle down, I can get back on track with the 5 days a week working out. Because it's not just work, it's also like having to do things like go to the dentist yesterday. Today I have a mammogram, and there's just not enough time in the day. Like, I have a prep period, but Tuesday, my whole prep period was taken because I was having a conversation about a couple of things with the principal. Then yesterday we had PLC. Today's Thursday, and I have things to do. And there's just this perpetual list of things that I need to do that just kind of sits there. On top of the election. Sorry, but my little phone holder, I think, is broken. On top of the election results, that really has me thinking, what else can I do professionally? If worst comes to worst, what else will you do? What options do you have? And even before that, even before it comes to worst, are there other things that you have interest in that you would want to do? Because we are living in some very uncertain times, and we are being led by someone that I find to be very incompetent in multiple ways. And we're living in a climate where certain kinds of parents are going to be emboldened in ways that they shouldn't be. And I think as a profession, we just continue to be less and less valued as professionals. So that in and of itself will burn a person out regardless of what work you do. If you feel like you're working really hard and society just doesn't even value what you do, and you have someone that is ignorant to your profession and what it takes to do your work, making decisions that are detrimental to your profession, that's exhausting. So that's where I'm at. I'm just working on getting to Thanksgiving break and giving myself some grace. And I've had a couple of comments by people that watch my vlogs now and have maybe for a while that are in the process of becoming a teacher, and saying how, me sharing my experiences keeps them encouraged to some degree. And I would say if that's the case, that's great. I think that means that you're going into teaching from the right place and for the right reasons. And in order to survive in a climate where it's just intense at times, and stressful at times, you have to have a very deep-rooted desire to do the job, a deep-rooted passion to do the job, which is why I think I've lasted as long as I have working the way that I do, because I have a very deep sense of purpose as to what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So, and you guys, those comments keep me going. Help me to continue to see the bright spots of what I do as a profession and forget about the things that kind of bog a person down. So thank you for that. But as far as today is concerned, I don't know that I'll do much classroom talk, because we have the library and that takes a whole class period. And then they are going to be working on their study guide. Excuse me. We finished the last town hall meeting yesterday, so those are over. I took some footage of one of my students who really gets into her character. I have to first see if her and her parent are okay with me sharing it, and if so, I'll share it with you. But if not, just know that she really embodied her character at the last town hall meeting. So they will be taking their quiz on the chapter Friday. So I'm giving them the study guide today. And I didn't realize until yesterday they have a social studies quiz and they have to take their AR test all on the same day. To which I said, it shouldn't be a problem, because you should be have been reading that AR book all month. And those AR tests are just very low leveled tests. So, but today I have a mammogram after school as well. So I might just check in with you after school. I've spilled coffee in here. And I don't know what I'll talk about. I don't know. But just know I'm here. It's been a difficult week or so, as I'm sure you can imagine. I'm doing better now than I was. I didn't vlog for a few days last week because I just couldn't. I just couldn't even bring myself to turn that camera on. My general takeaway is that my resistance to what's going on right now will be my continued teaching, and I will continue to teach, the way that I always have. And I will find other ways to make my voice heard and advocate for people that are not currently being advocated for. So that's where I'm at. I will talk to you guys later. It's about 5 o'clock right now. like 5:15 or so. I'm home. Here are my workout clothes that I was supposed to put on this morning and I just chose not to. Just taunting me. I've been home for a while. I left school at about 3:15 because I had a mammogram today and my battery's gonna die. And then I came home to walk the dogs and sat down for a minute. And now I'm about to take a shower. I might even meditate because I need to remember. I don't think I've done a great job of it so far. I think I've had one day already where I forgot. And I've only been trying to do this for the last few vlogs. Per my therapist, I need to think of something that I do for myself each day. And you would be surprised as to how hard that is, which is a sad statement. But I came home one day and I decided to do a meditation from the Peloton app. And it was just a breathing meditation. Like the focus was just focusing on your breathing. And it really did help. So I think I'm gonna do that. But first I'm gonna go downstairs and get the other battery because this one's about to die. I just put my new battery in and I thought you might like to see a little footage of the children playing, just for joy. That's one of their fall toys. I don't know what that little animal is, but Wolfie loves to just toss things around. You know, sometimes you just gotta watch a dog play because they don't have any cares. They don't know about the election. Their biggest focus is, will I get to play with the toy? Will I get to go on a walk today? And will my mom give me a slice of her apple? That's their biggest worries. But anyway, I think I'm gonna try and meditate because as I was driving home with the radio in my car off and no music, no sound, no podcast, just clutching on for dear life not to cry. I'm like, what is it that you want to cry about? Like, what's going on? And I think I'm spent. That is the best way to put it. I am truly spent in the sense that I just feel empty. Like, I have never understood the saying, my cup is empty, or my cup is dry. I don't even know if that's a saying. I don't know if that's a saying or I just made that up. But I've never understood whatever that saying is more. I feel like I have been that's what it is. I've been pouring into others and not getting anything in return, and just pouring into others and not getting anything in return. And I'm just at a point where my cup is empty. And I'm tired and I'm desperate for just some peace, and I miss feeling relaxed. I don't know the last time I felt relaxed. So yeah, I don't know, like on the way here, I kind of touched on it a little bit this morning too, but I'm seriously like, I gotta do something. I gotta make some changes. And I don't know what those changes are. I don't know how small those changes need to be or how drastic those changes need to be. But I just feel like right now I need to make some changes because it's not sustainable. And I'm still more, I think, relaxed than when I first went to therapy, but there's still a long way to go. In terms of learning how to set and keep boundaries for myself as well as others, and also just how to know how to let things go, just kind of not expect less of myself, but just accept that I am a human being and I can only do so much. And I've had some people that I've worked with that are like my superiors, meaning like they're my assistant principal or principal, or people that have been my principal and now have moved on to bigger things, that have basically said, like, you know, what is like mediocre per my standards for myself is somebody's, you know, A+ work. And so I think even if I scaled back a little bit, The only person that would be disappointed in myself is me. Nobody else would be looking at me thinking like, wow, she's really just not doing much. But I've just had this persistent feeling lately, for a while, that I need to make some changes. And like, I have even contemplated like, is the change going back to elementary school? Because when I taught elementary school, I had less things going on. Less things to manage, I think. Like I only managed 30 some odd kids, whereas at the middle school level, you're managing, I have, let's say on average, I'm gonna round up just for the ease of the math. On average, there might be, no, you know what, I'll round down. 30 kids in each class. I have my two core classes, my leadership class, and 2 different UA classes. So 30 times 5, like I'm dealing with like 150 kids that I'm managing to some degree. And I have the leadership elective, which is a lot of fun, but there's a lot of decision making in that and a lot of brain power in that. And so when I was walking the dogs just now, I'm like, maybe you are truly suffering from decision fatigue. Because I'm making decisions as just a standard teacher, and we all know teachers have to make tons of decisions in the course of a day, and then add a layer to that where you're the leadership teacher, where you're running a lot of things on campus and people have to ask you questions, you have to make decisions. And so that's one of the reasons why I've thought like, is the change like going back down to elementary? There are things that I miss. I miss teaching math. I miss teaching, you know, picture books. I miss the innocence of it all. But I also really enjoy middle school. So even when I say that out loud, it doesn't feel 100% right. It doesn't feel like that's the change, but it's an option. It's a viable option. The only thing is like the schools that I could go to, or I would want to go to in the district, the principals there I know and have worked with to some degree. And I think they'd be like, oh, LaTanya's here, let's give her these responsibilities. There are days where I think the change is a complete professional change, but I don't even know what that would look like. I don't know what that would be, where I could sustain and maintain the same lifestyle and the same pay and maintain my financial responsibilities. But that's been an even more present thought given the recent election results and the decisions that have begun to be made already. And then sometimes I'm like, the change is just internal. Like you're working on yourself and you just need to continue to work and you're just going through growing pains. And then some days I just think it's November. So you're just tired because of the time of year. But either way, I do feel like there are some changes that need to be made, like for my overall health. I think I'm getting better at just kind of like cutting people off and knowing like my hard line boundary in terms of my interactions with people and how far I'm willing to go. And not that I think I've always been comfortable with people just not liking me or not caring for me, because I just know that's a part of life. But it's like I've gotten even more comfortable with that now. Like if I'm secure in who I am and what I'm doing, like if someone doesn't like it, that's their prerogative. But yeah, I don't really have much to say besides that. Like I said this morning, nothing much happened with the classes today because we went to the library and then they came back and they had time to work on their study guides for their social studies quiz tomorrow. And I think just, you know, the amount that sometimes you have to, like, I think I talked to one of my classes today and I'm like, the amount that I'm like pouring in, I didn't use these words, but this was the amount that I'm pouring in to help you guys and prepare you guys for things is not always being returned. And it's like, it's way off. And that is demoralizing sometimes. It's what burns teachers out. So, but then you'll have kids that do something or say something that like, make it worthwhile. I had a student today, I think this is through one of the clubs on campus. She just left me a nice note, like a nice little thank you note. And just that little note just filled my cup up. But nothing to report there. The day was uneventful. I did go to the doctor's afterwards. I had a mammogram. and those are always fun. We'll see what the results are, because I had my first mammogram a few years ago, and then I had an abnormal read, so of course that was scary. I had to go back, and it turns out I just had dense breast tissue, but they had to do, I had dense breast tissue, but then I thought I had felt a lump, and I did. There was something definitely there, so then I had to go get it biopsy, then I had to wait for the biopsy, which was a painful procedure, and then they put like a little chip inside of you, I think, to let it be known that that area has been searched. I don't remember, but I had my mammogram and I went to the dentist yesterday. I meant to tell you about the dentist yesterday because I was quite frustrated. I'm really starting to feel like the dentist office was just trying to get me for my money. I've been going to get my teeth cleaned for a long time, it was every 6 months. And the hygienist that I used to have, who loved me and my teeth and was always very complimentary of what I was doing with my teeth, she no longer works there. And since then, it's just been like random hygienist, and I haven't had a stable one like I did. And then at one point, a hygienist was like, oh no, you need to come back every 4 months. So I was like, okay, like maybe I do, because I'm not super consistent with flossing. So I was going every 4 months since 2021 without issue. So yesterday I go. I knew I was gonna have to pay a $50 late cancellation fee because I had a dentist appointment at one point earlier in the year, and I just wasn't emotionally prepared to go to the dentist. I think I was just having a bad day. I think I couldn't even, I think it was during the summer, and I just couldn't even bring myself to put clothes on and go to the dentist, and I knew it was gonna be a fee, and I just didn't care at that point. So I knew I was gonna have to pay that fee. So I was prepared to do that, but then when I walk up to the window and she tells me I needed to pay almost $200, of course I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. For what? And she said, well, your insurance only covers 2 cleanings a year and you've already surpassed that. So then of course I said, I've always had more than 2 cleanings a year because you guys told me I needed to come every 4 months. And I'm like, I've never paid for that. And she's like, well, you have to pay this. And I said, well, I'm prepared to pay $50 today. I'm not prepared to pay almost $200. So we kind of went back and forth for a minute. And so then I said, is there someone I can speak to? Because I said, well, then I'm not getting my teeth cleaned today. We'll have to reschedule it so that I'm back on track with 2 a year. And she's like, well, if you don't get your teeth cleaned today, then we're gonna charge you another $50 late cancellation policy. And that's when I said, can I speak to somebody about that? Because I shouldn't be charged this late cancellation policy because I wasn't informed of this. And there's no reason for me to have thought I would have to pay. And at first she's like, well, no, because I know she's gonna say, as a customer, you should know your insurance. So she's gonna say no. So I said, okay, well, let me sit down for a minute and think about what I wanna do. Then she was like, well, let me go ask and see what she says. And when I tell you she came back within a minute and was like, oh, they're gonna waive it. I was like, yeah, because it should be waived because I didn't know. So what ended up happening is I didn't get my teeth cleaned because I was not gonna pay almost $200 at that time. It was not budgeted for, so that wasn't on yesterday's bingo card. I did get my checkup though, and I have a cavity or a filling that needs to be repaired, and then I came home. So I don't know why I shared that with you, but that was just a little tidbit of real life. I went to the dentist yesterday and they tried to charge me money they had never charged me before. But I'm not gonna belabor the end of this vlog. This is really just me checking in and trying to be consistent and offering something outside of the classroom, and really just kind of reaching out to other teachers if you're feeling the same way. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it just feels like something has to change. Like, for me to just maintain good health mentally, physically, emotionally, something might have to change because we don't know what's to come. And I've been doing this for 20 years. Oh, and the other thing I want to say is, like, in light of recent events, like, I'm really thinking about what needs to change, because as of right now, if you ask me today, I absolutely positively have no interest in being an administrator. Not at this time, not in this climate, because I think a lot of times administrators have to be yes people per what the district is asking them to do. And you can't really be super opinionated, or it's looked down upon from what I can tell. And I just know I could not, if there's something I don't believe in or something I don't think is right, I know I wouldn't be able to then put that on teachers to do and be convincing about it. So I have no desire to do that, especially as now where this is a time where I feel like I should be able to be opinionated and share my perspective and my concerns and put that out there. And you can't really do that as a principal because you're representing a school. And maybe I said that this morning, but I don't know. That's it. That's all I'm going to say today before I continue to ramble anymore. But if you enjoyed today's vlog, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please make sure you do that, because I do thoroughly enjoy reading those and responding to them. And as far as what I did for myself today, because I'm supposed to include that in every vlog, you know what? I got a mammogram today. I went ahead and I got that mammogram, and that is me taking care of my health, which is always a good thing. So as always, I hope that you're well. And if you're not well, please be as well as you can in these days and times, and I will see you guys in the next vlog.